So my name is Mei. Now my job is a engineer. So I doing some consultation for a technology company, and Vishnu, he is 5.5 years old. Now he's K2, so he's going to primary next year.
So both of you are learning drums currently.
Yes.
So how did the interest came about, and who initiated, say, I'm going to learn drums now, and which year did you start learning?
The idea came from me. So it started a few years back, just when Vishnu was 3 years old. Because I always thought that the drumming is a very cool thing to do, and Vishnu is a boy, so naturally I would want him to do the drumming. But because he was too little, and then he has this attention issue that he couldn't concentrate in the class, we first approached Teacher Day. After trying for a few months, I noticed that he was just playing in the class, and he didn't seem to absorb the enough knowledge to keep going. And then Teacher Day suggested that we come back 1 or 2 years later. Maybe it's better to start when he's 5 years old. So then that we started the second time, just after his 5-year-old birthday. And I remember what Teacher Day told me, so I brought him back. We tried. Yes, it's much better this time.
So once he started lesson, you came on board as well, and you learned the drums.
At first, it was just Vishnu. I didn't start learning the drumming, but after a few months, I also noticed that he still has a little bit attention issues in the class, and after the class he come back, he doesn't want to practice, and he has a lot of excuses. And as a parent, I am worried, but I don't know how to help him. So then I was thinking again, like, since that idea came from me, I feel that it's my responsibility to help him and support him along the way. So why not? I also start learning drumming, and I can, make a good example, and then so that I hope that it could help my son. I think it's also related to my childhood experience. So when I was a child, I always wanted to learn piano, but my mom, she was so into violin. She says that, no, your fingers are short and fat. You cannot do piano. You'll be a very lousy piano. So she insisted that I learn violin. But I didn't like this musical instrument, and the violin is very difficult because not like guitar, it has no, how to say, the division thing. So you need to practice a lot to know where to press exactly. Then I gave up. And I was holding grudges on my mom's decision because I was always thinking, if you like violin this much, why not you learn it yourself? Why you force me to learn? Why should I carry your dream?
Do you think things would have changed if she actually picked up violin as well, and
Yeah.
she coached you along the way?
Yes.
Do you think that the journey would be easier?
Yes, I like you said, I kept thinking back, how would things be different if she did it differently? Because compared with drumming or piano, violin is I feel is more difficult. So I got tons of frustration from the violin practice. Any very minor, if you didn't press the exact location exactly and accurately, the sound come out very different. So it's a very painful, frustrated, upset process for a kid. Then I was thinking, if my mom was there to support me, if she was able to correct me, or she was practicing with me, it would have been different. It would have been different.
So speaking of progress, would you like to run us through the daily or weekly schedule like when it comes to practicing yourself and with Vishnu or individually?
Okay, sure. So how we do our routine, at first we didn't practice daily. We were practicing, of course, every time before the class because I don't want him to look back during the class. But then slowly I realized that it is not enough because drumming, you need constant practice so that you can have the progress, you can have improvement. If you miss the practice, if you didn't keep on practicing, you do not have a good progress, which in turns will add to your frustration. So now we slowly building up the daily routine. For Vishnu, for me, we try to practice every day. After dinner time, I allow Vishnu to have half an hour free time, watch TV, so that it will be easier for him to do the drumming later on. Then after that, he will practice the drumming. I ask him to practice at least 30 minutes to 60 minutes. After he finished, then it's my turn to practice. Yeah, because sometimes I was like, I don't want to practice, but in order to give Vishnu a good example, I force myself to practice, and then it indeed helps him. Yep.
That's a sacrifice. Like you want to see through the progress as well.
Yes.
You want to aid him to achieve things that you end up picking up the same instrument.
Yes.
So does this learning drums at the same time, does it also evolve the dynamics of the mother and son relationship?
Yeah, it does. But there are a lot of dynamics. Sometimes I feel that it helps me understand my son better because although it's a mother and son, we are two different individuals. We have different character traits and everything, and how we practice and how we treat the mistakes that we made during practice are completely different. So it helped me understand him better, and it also helps him understand himself better. So the challenges, the difficulties that he went through during the practice, I feel that it helps him in other aspects. There are lows and highs. Sometimes out of frustration, I did scold him. But then after that, I realized that it is not very constructive. We all know that it is a challenge for parents to discipline their children. So sometimes in order to discipline them, in order to see some progress, you need to add pressure. But there are two types of pressure. One is constructive, the other one is destructive. So through this drumming, the practice, it helps me become a better mom, I think. Because now I try to remove the destructive pressure from the discipline thing, the children education. So I try to be positive and be constructive, be supportive in helping my child and disciplining him. Yeah, then I think that it's quite helpful, a good process for me and for him.
So how does your spouse, your husband, feels about the mother and son connecting through drums?
Yeah. Basically, he's very jealous. So he's very jealous that mother and son are doing the same thing. We talk in the same language when we talk about 16 no, this and that. He is out of my husband is out of context. Like what? Like what are you talking about? So he's very jealous. But he is very supportive. He bought us the drum set and then he helped us install everything and connect these to the amplifier, the sound system. So he did it for us. He's very supportive. Yep.
So just now we touched on his personal growth. So you do notice that it's very important when you pick up an instrument.
Yes.
And you follow through, you can see how it can apply well in child development, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
You do notice a change when he's out learning different activities as well, or
Yes, regarding the child development, I feel this drumming practice is extremely beneficial for his character building. In the practice, he is very impatient. Basically, he's very impatient, and his threshold for making mistakes is very low. Any little mistake, if it's a normal person, they will just skip this mistake and just continue. But for him, he will stop and collapse. He will start crying, he will start hitting his hand, blaming that, my hand is so rude, he made me do this mistake. And my leg is so rude, he's doing this mistake. So it's really not easy. It's not easy. But from these mistakes, the frustration, the upset, all these, after this process, I feel that he has changes over the process. Now he is more patient. He is able to manage this anger better, because I always tell him that you need to tame your anger. I know you're angry, but you need to tame your anger like you tame a wild animal. You can control it, okay? I know you're angry, but you can control it. Just keep on practicing, you will do better. Yeah, just find all sorts of ways to inspire him. Yeah.
So, do you set a goal for yourself and Vishnu in future months or years ahead in drumming?
At first, okay, the goals for the drumming, I cannot say that I set the goals for Vishnu, because fundamentally it is his activity. He should have a goal for himself. Although I didn't see it now, but I hope that he can develop this in the future. Right now, I just feel that it is very helpful in his character building. And although there are a lot of frustrations during the practice, but I can see that he did enjoy the song. He likes music. That's why we started drumming, that we started musical instrument, because he really loves music, he loves to dance, and he loves the beats. So when he was finally able to do the song, he enjoys it. I think that is nice and is a good start for him. So as far as go for drumming for myself, it is also quite simple. I also enjoy the drumming. I enjoy the music. So I don't have like a very big dream, like to be a pop star drummer one day. But I think how I progress now, I am happy with it, and I want to be better at drumming. Yeah, so that I can maybe perform. Yeah, one day. I feel from my personal experience, for children, the first one for instructor is that the instructor needs to be patient, because kids this age, they give up easily, and sometimes they cannot follow instructions properly, and they have attention issues. So we need the instructor to be patient, to be able to guide the children along the way. Yeah. So the second one is the instructor. It's very important that the instructor can know the limits of a person, and the instructor is able to inspire the students to keep moving, to push their limits during the practice, during the lesson. I think that's important, because if you do it all by yourself, like nowadays there are videos on YouTube, you can there are drum covers in YouTube videos. But if you just learn with the videos, you cannot get the basic skills right. And if you could not get the basic skills right, then you cannot go very far. I also noticed that in Vishnu's drumming practice, because he tend to use arm more than the wrist. But if he use the arm, then he cannot do it very fast. So that's the thing. So having a good instructor is very important.
And it's also a big advantage that you are also learning the drums.
Ah, yes.
So additional, you can take away information as well, because you are moving slightly ahead of him when it comes to the progression.
Yes.
So you can oversee and you foresee like, oh yeah, he has done something like the wrist movement that he's not applying, then you can advise that. That's very good as well.
Yes. So from my personal experience, I could say that parents learning the drumming with the kid is a extra advantage. It's because adults can adults take information differently than a child. The child sometimes they will skip or miss out some point. But if the parents are also learning, they can take in all the information and knowledge, and then they will be able to help the child during practice. Because practice is very important, and that is the most frustrating part. So if a parent is there to support your child through the process, it will be very good. It will be very beneficial. And both parent and child learning, if the child is doing better than the parent, that will be very good, because you could use that to inspire your child even more, like, see, you can do better than me. But if the parent can do better, usually the case, then the parent can guide the child through the practice. So in either way, it is a very good thing.
Does Vishnu feel competitive when he sees you? Oh, you're playing at this speed. I want a challenge to reach you, or is there a
Yes. Sometimes he say that, "Mommy, I can do faster than you. Can do faster." Sometimes he will say that, but sometimes he will say he feel a bit upset because he's quite competitive. Sometimes he will be upset, saying that, "I can never be this. I can never do this. I can never do this good." Or sometimes, but most of the time it is positive, that he's like, "Mommy, I can do faster than you." Yeah, and when I make mistake during practice, or when I miss a beat, and Vishnu say, "You need to practice.
Oh, wow.
You need to practice more." He's returning my words to me. Yeah.
Motivation for both.
Yes. So that is when my husband feels jealous. Yeah.
So thank you with sharing with us today. It was a pleasure to hear from your side.